Welcome, everyone, to the HubTalk Showcase Theater. Let me ask you something. If you could have any superpower from any superhero movie, TV show, comic book that you might have read, what would it be? How might it change your life for the better? How might it change the world? Today, I'm going to talk about how ThousandEyes can be your FY24 SaaS sales motion superpower. And by the end of it, I'm going to reveal what could be the greatest superpower of them all. Now, I'm Christopher Hunt. I'm a technical solutions architect out of the commercial East. My partner in crime, Mr. David Oberst over there, my PSS. He's getting married in 2 weeks, by the way. Congratulations. So for those who don't know me, I've been here at Cisco for 3 years now, but I come from a background working at an MSP, a managed service provider, for 20 years. Now that's a long time. Believe it or not, my first day on the job, they gave me a screwdriver and a pager. Who remembers those things? Oh, good, good. For those who don't, you didn't miss anything. It's a bad piece of technology. But anyway, throughout my career there, especially starting out, I had a lot of different customers, different shapes and sizes, lots of different technologies. But my focus was on network, security, and administration. And I was the Cisco guy at the office. You know, I remember touching my first 1721 router. Looked like a VCR. But that's the first time I touched iOS. Then worked on PIX firewalls, ASAs, WLCs, UC500s, the list goes on and on. But I was the Cisco guy at the office. And I think the biggest thing I brought to the table was being able to troubleshoot. That was my game. Coming from a family of mechanics near Raleigh, North Carolina, small town out of Raleigh, North Carolina. My grandpa worked on cars. My dad worked on big industrial machines. Well, for me in this digital age, I felt like I was really good at working at computers. There wasn't a server that I couldn't fix, that wasn't booting, blue screening. I felt like I just never gave up. Network issues, I would just always fight until I got it, or die trying at least. Now, outside of work, I have a big passion for music and video production. Who here has seen the System Isn't Down video? Yeah? If you hadn't, go on YouTube. All you gotta do, the System Isn't Down. And that video is really cool because it really culminates my frustrations in my IT career. It's only a 1.5 minute music video parody talking about those frustrations. Now, my passion in music, that had to take a back seat when I met my wife. Met her 10 years ago on the job. And you know, it's funny, I wasn't supposed to meet my wife on the job. I promised my boss, though, I was going to marry that woman. And I did. It's the best thing I ever did. And 3 years later, my son was born, Ethan Hunt. Now, I did not mean to name him after the Mission Impossible character. My dad was stoked, though. But the name really grew on us. And I tell you what, when I first held him for the first time, and I looked in his eyes, and he cried and didn't stop crying for 3 years, I knew my life was different forever. But what I didn't know was the change in me that was going to happen. That I learned that I love being a dad. My focus completely changed. I loved having my family. They're the #1 priority to me. So when it came to those late nights, those weekends, I for sure had a lot of them. You'd get an email in the morning, working all weekend because of some issue for some company. Or those 3 a.m. calls, just like in that video. That was my life. Well, it really came to a head when I was cleaning out my car and I saw this in the back seat. I was supposed to receive this on a Father's Day breakfast at his daycare. And I didn't go. You know, I had a VPN issue with a customer, super important. But honestly, I don't even remember exactly what customer or why. I remember how I felt that day when I saw this. I'm never going to get that time back. And that's when I knew it was time for a change. So I went for that opportunity at Cisco. And I thank my lucky stars every day that the manager that hired me took a chance on me. Well, I remember like yesterday what it was like. And I remember in this complex new world, the latter part of my career, we're all about moving people into the cloud. And we had a big fear of losing a lot of that control. You know, we're fixing bare metal machines. We're working on Exchange servers on-prem. Now moving this off, offloading it, it got to be really scary. And it really hurt our visibility when all the applications, the infrastructure, the people are now spread across this vast landscape we call the World Wide Web, or the internet, right? And I saw this progress and get even more difficult with the visibility and control streaking, and then our need for those external dependencies. You know, now we're selling virtual routers inside of cloud providers. Monolithic DCs, servers inside of DCs are now containerized microservices that are spanned across different Kubernetes clusters in different zones, across different providers, all connected by API. And then with everybody working from home, with the Work From Home initiative, that just made our reliance on the internet that much more important. Network performance need has increased exponentially. And monitoring the health of the network and the internet is beyond human scale these days. And the need for more complex sales motions like SD-WAN and SASE are now a normal thing. So that leads to longer and more complex POV cycles. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and pretend I know what your challenges are. I reached out to my sellers, the sellers I sell with, the ones that used to sell to me, people like yourselves, and I asked, what is your kryptonite? What are your biggest challenges in your sales motions? And these are the things that I heard, and I'm curious if they resonate with you. Number one being more time spent on post-sales. You guys feel that one? Yeah. Now, what if you had a way to monitor the performance of something after you sold it? Next one, more competition. People trying to take a piece of our pie, right? They might be selling it a little bit cheaper, but you know what? You get what you pay for. Cisco has always been the de facto standard in my mind. What if we were able to offer something that was a little more to show the health of the stuff that we sold? And then finally, less traditional opportunities. And what I mean by that is that we're in this cloud-first world. We have all these different technologies, all these different acquisitions now that you guys got to keep tabs of. The blame falls at your feet. And I know that this can be really frustrating because maybe the technology hasn't proven itself to you. Maybe you don't know that extended team. So that turns into less certainty of closing, all these different things, worrying about hitting your number. I know I worry about hitting my number. We got to figure out how to take this power back. We need to find a way to manage all those things that are unmanageable. We got to find ways to make our solutions more sticky and a better choice than the rest. Well, I'm here today to tell you that there is a better way. A better, faster, smarter way. And that's with ThousandEyes. So what is ThousandEyes? We're a network and internet intelligence platform. We're able to map user experience directly to network performance and internet health. And we do this with our collective intelligence, where we take billions of daily pathway measurements to over 1,000 different digital services all over the web, from 1,000 different vantage points in over 110 different countries. Now, if I was going to explain this to my son, he's a big Lightning McQueen fan, I would just say, we are speed. We're all about network efficiency and network assurance when it comes to those end-to-end connections that we care about. Not just for our customers, but for our sales motions. Now I'm going to take you back to 1990. This is roughly 6 years after Cisco was founded. The Hubble telescope was launched into space. Now this was a revolutionary new way to see into our stars, the universe, our cosmos, like we've never seen before. And around the same time, Traceroute was released on Unix-based systems. Now, because of the emerging internet, we needed a way to see through those different network pathways. And I'll tell you what, I use Traceroute all the time. I relied on it all the time. Problem was, I got more and more asterisks. It started to run slower and slower as we got less visibility. The thing is, why are we using 30-year-old tools for modern-day problems? Well, we're not. James Webb Telescope 2020 launched into space. Now this was like a 4K view to the older SD view we saw, answering a lot of different questions that we had, disproving theories that we had, basically giving us the ability to see clearer and further than ever before. And around the same time, ThousandEyes was acquired by Cisco. This was an equally revolutionary way to see into the health of the internet. You know, we live in very exciting times. We've got an industry-leading platform at our disposal to use. The thing is, the power of ThousandEyes is already in your hands today. It's no mystery why at Cisco Live, I had the pleasure of being there, that it seemed like everybody had a lightsaber. I don't know who had those. But there was ThousandEyes shirts everywhere. Go ahead, blame the network, F-Traceroute, Chat, BGP. And I think those people saw the same thing that I saw when I first saw ThousandEyes. It's just so easy. You just need an IP address and a host name. That's it. And you can get instant value. And then when you get a little bit deeper, you got a strong team of TSAs that are either former SEs or network engineers out in the field, just like myself. And we're always improving. With our acquisitions into Sam Knows, Code BGP, Exedian, we're seeing deeper into the mobile networks, the user networks, and the cloud providers. So I'm calling on all my superheroes. Include ThousandEyes in any opportunity where performance is important. Not just to you, but to your sales motions, to the customers. You're going to be able to see pre- and post-migration statuses. You're going to be able to ensure that what you sold is running smoothly. Utilize integrations where they fit best. You already know about the Cat 8Ks, the 9Ks, the ASRs, the ISRs, the Nexus switches. This is going to make it easy when you sell this equipment to be able to show that it performs properly. And it eases that deployment because you don't need any other compute. You can run it straight from that switch or router. Also, Meraki, MX67 and above, going to have that same ability. But the beauty of this is the beauty of Meraki, policy driven. I just go right into the insight, I go to the active application monitoring, and then I just sign in. It's that easy. You don't have to touch the device, you just select the network that you want. And as soon as you do that, you're able to get end-to-end performance of that connection. Now, what if you're selling a Meraki deal, they moved from another vendor because performance was crap? What if it was because of the internet? You don't want to sell a new piece of hardware and have the same problems. Take that network assurance with ThousandEyes to ensure that that new installation with Meraki goes smoothly. Or you could point out that their internet does suck. Collaboration. Now this is an area where any type of blip, any type of loss, latency, jitter, you're going to feel it. So we've got the integration into Control Hub. You've probably seen this, or at least this view. From troubleshooting, you just jump in, search for the meeting that you want, and then you get all of that great info from the Control Hub mixed with that awesome network path information, completing the information about loss, latency, and jitter in that full pathway. And then you get that end-to-end view. But also when it comes to WebEx, endpoint for Room OS. Now this is awesome. This is going to be the way they can visualize end-to-end the performance of those devices. Loss, latency, jitter. But now you have an agent from that vantage point as well. Cisco Secure Client Module. I'm going to always call this AnyConnect, but this is the new initiative, Cisco Secure Client Module. We're going to now be bundled in there. It's going to make it a lot easier to manage, especially from the SecureX Cloud platform. And also answer that big problem we have with a lot of customers that say, do we need yet another agent? Well, now they won't. They're already going to have the Cisco Secure Client Module on there. And then finally, FSO. Now, this one's near and dear to my heart. I didn't tell you, but I actually started at AppD for 2 years before coming on board. And I really believe in this motion because of being at the MSP, I could have used it all every single day. Now, I created this graphic to really talk about how this works. You're looking at ThousandEyes on the left-hand side, seeing the pathways of the internet, connecting through. It's kind of like when you took your Uber from the airport and the Beyonce concert was happening and you're trying to go to your hotel and the traffic is crap. Well, the GPS said, hey, don't take this route, let's go this route so you can get there most efficiently. I definitely felt that, and I was so glad they had it. Thank goodness they weren't using MapQuest, right? So you can think about this. Maybe when you go to that front door and you unlock your door, that's port 443. ThousandEyes is going to show you all the way up to that door. And as soon as you open that door, that's where App Dynamics takes over. Measuring, tagging, and tracing, node-to-node communication. Inside of the frameworks, looking back at the back-end infrastructure, the database information, measuring, tagging, tracing, baselining, cutting out the noise, and showing you when you need to take action. And the integration, using the back end of OTel now, has made this even easier. All you do, go to integrations to ThousandEyes, and you just sign in. As soon as you do that, you're able to get full metrics, all the things that I would have cared about. The transactional KPIs, the infrastructure, even the business stuff I'm going to show my boss, the user experience, and of course, the network performance to all the dependencies, but also what my customers are seeing. This is all the things that I would step through that would take hours. Having this type of view would have been killer for me. Being able to see exactly where the problem is, just within seconds, and just at a glance. Now, these integrations are great, right? But like I mentioned before, you just need an IP address or a host name. You don't need the integrations, they just make it easier. Include ThousandEyes where performance is the priority. All you got to do, just point to that resource. That's it. So my challenge to you, break away from yesterday's problems and frustrations. Break away from the competition. Use ThousandEyes to help lead smoother POV processes, less post-sales work, and immediate commission payouts. It's software. As soon as the PO is cut, you get paid. But really, at the end of the day, I'd like to believe we really do it for one thing, is happier customers. Happier customers renew, happier customers expand. So I promise you, what is the greatest superpower of them all, in my opinion? It's the power to save time. It's the one superpower that we can all benefit from. The big constant, the big thing that we can never get back once it's spent. You can always get more money with time, but you cannot buy more time with money. Maybe with just a little bit more time, I might have been able to close that big deal before fiscal. Maybe with just a little bit more time, I might have been able to finish that COBC training before my manager started breathing down my neck. Or maybe with just a little bit more time, I might have been able to make it to that Father's Day breakfast with my son. ThousandEyes is all about network assurance and time for the customer and for us in our sales motions. The power is already in the palm of your hands, right at your fingertips. The only thing that's required is the choice to wield that power. Thank you very much, everybody.